Serious, what is the creepiest or most unexplained thing that's happened to you that you still think about to this day? Was camping alone in a small one-person tent. All snug and secure in the tent. I went to sleep. Was woken by a clap of thunder at 3 AM. To discover both the inner and outer tent door was wide open. That was freaky. I've had raccoons open my tent doors before. Probably that. Man, I love camping, but I don't think I'd ever be able to go camping alone, even in an RV. Camping alone in the first place is scary. I was living in Boston. I woke up at 3 AM or so by my cat jumping up on my bed and curling in between my calf muscles and going to sleep. My cat would do this every night since I was 5 years old. That was his spot. It was something I was very familiar with. Thing is, my cat was living with my parents on the West Coast, so I couldn't understand what the hell I just felt. But I knew it was my cat. I just figured I was dreaming. Got a call from my parents the following morning that my cat died around midnight the previous night. 3 hours behind since I was on the East Coast. Guess that was my cat traveling to Boston to come see me one last time. And X200B. Edit. After so many replies, I got to say this. Really? I wasn't dreaming. I remember it quite well. I said maybe I was dreaming because I'm doubtful myself. But thinking back, yeah, I was wide awake and realized my experience. Despite being a fun believer in ghosts, suspension of disbelief, I haven't had any other experiences other than this. This is my own experience and I expect and appreciate the doubt. But call it what you will. I'm glad you both got that last snuggle 3. That is so sad, but also so beautiful. Hes with you. Okay, I teared up. I fell asleep on the couch and got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Once I got there I realized I didn't have to go. I headed towards the bedroom, but decided to turn around and go back downstairs to the couch. When I got there I saw my body still asleep curled up on the sofa. I don't remember what happened after, and I know it had to have just been a dream, but it still freaks me out to this day to think about it. Ilmu, you became your own sleep paralysis demon. Astral projection? What if you hadn't turned back? What if you went onto the bedroom and slept there? Maybe around age 14. Early 90s. We were traveling from TX up to Tacoma. Wow. We were about out of money. Almost out of gas. No food. Stuck in Chico, California. I sat in the car while mom took my younger sisters to the restroom at a gas station. I was riddled with anxiety about our situation and looking down. The car door opened and I looked up. A lady that looked like a brown-haired bratty mom sat in the seat and faced me. She said, "It seems like you're down on your luck. Take this and give it to your mom. Tell her to pay it forward someday to someone who needs it." I looked down into my hand and there was a 100 bill. I looked up and she had disappeared. Nowhere in the parking lot. Just vanished. I cried. When mom came back I told her what happened and she cried. We got gas. There was a guy selling oranges on the side of the road and we bought a bag and went to a local park that had a part of the river with a little spillway dam and went swimming and ate oranges for a couple of hours before getting back on the road. I never saw the lady again. But she saved us, and we did make it up to Tacoma to start our new life. Thank you, stranger lady with invisible powers. We never forgot your kindness. Did you pay it forward? In college I was roommates with my childhood best friend for about 2 years. We are very trusting with each other. We would go into each other's rooms freely and grab whatever we needed. To borrow clothes, hairbrush, perfume, etc. No questions asked. Just a knock if we were in the room to let each other know we were going in. Our rooms are across the hall from each other, with the hall facing the kitchen. So from the kitchen you could see down the hall where our rooms were. At the time my friend had very long black hair and she's very fair skinned. One day, I get home from work with my headphones in my ear talking to my mom about my day. I go in the kitchen and grab a snack. I see her walk out of her room and go into mine, leave my room and go back into hers. She looked like she just got out the shower. Her hair was soaking wet and she was wrapped in a white towel. Her long black wet hair is what I distinctly remember. Also, She made no eye contact with me, but I didn't think it was weird. I didn't say anything to her, since borrowing each other's stuff was normal. I'm still on the phone with my mom, so I don't think much of it. I grab my snack, hang up with my mom, and go into my room to watch TV. I figured she's getting ready to go somewhere and we'll talk later. About an hour passes and I go to the kitchen to clean the plate I ate on. I see her in the kitchen making something to eat, and I tell her, "Hey, what did you grab from my room earlier? Did you find what you needed?" She looks at me like if I was crazy and says, "What are you talking about?" So I say, "Yeah, earlier when I got home I saw you go into my room and grab something. Did you get what you needed?" Sorry, I didn't say hi, I was on the phone with my mom. She asks me if I'm sure I saw her. I said yes, 100%. She tells me to grab my phone and go to her car as soon as possible. That she needs to show me something. I had my phone on me and she grabbed my keys from the kitchen counter along with her purse, and she drags me out the front door and into her car. She then tells me she got home maybe 5 minutes before we started talking. She had spent the night at her boyfriend's and hadn't been home all day, so she has no idea who I saw. I'll never forget the look on her face when she told me this. Complete fear and panic. She called the cops and they came along with the apartment manager. They checked the whole apartment and found no one. Nothing amiss. And they were in there a while checking every nook and cranny. The manager got maintenance to change our locks and gave us new keys that day. My friend then tells me that for a week she'd been hearing noises from her bathroom like bottles moving. And when she went to check she found nothing. I have no idea who I saw going in and out of our rooms, but it looked exactly like my friend. I don't drink or do drugs, not on meds. This was in 2014, and I still freak out when I think about it. Good for your friend actually taking action. Because it's a creepy/unexplained thread, the immediate thought is ghost or something, but I rule the fact that she paid attention to the noises and made sure there wasn't someone actually in the apartment is good thinking. You both handled that very well. She thought fast on her feet and got you both out of there. You went without making a deal out of it. Anyone who might have been inside the place wouldn't have been suspicious. I once woke up in a tent in the middle of the night while camping in the Upper Peninsula with my friends. I heard this dude shouting and screaming about a bear, telling it to FCK off and stuff. Naturally I woke my buddy up and told him what was up, and he said he could hear it too. We got out of our tent and searched for almost an hour around the campsite and found nothing. Then proceeded to find a Red Wings hat that was neither of ours. We took watch turns the rest of the night, and I'm pretty sure he still has the hat to this day. Note, up is a term used by people familiar with Michigan as the Upper Peninsula, the arrow looking thing above the mitten. I once woke up in a tent in the middle of the night, holy duck, while camping in the Upper Peninsula with my friends. Oh, I really should finish reading the sentence. Voices can carry for quite a ways at night. He might have been a quarter mile or more away. If it's a popular campsite, the hat might just be coincidental. Ghost of dude eaten by bear came back. I once caught my neighbor staring at me outside my bedroom window while I was straightening my hair with no trousers on, and I immediately ducked under my window pane as soon as I saw him. He was legit stood in this alleyway that connects the street's back gardens, arms crossed in there for at least 15 more minutes just staring through my window. I even got a picture of it. Pretty sure I was 15. Ike. There aren't even proper words to describe how gross that guy is for that. When I was 17 I had just gotten off my shift at Wendy's and was sitting in the parlor for my ride, and a middle-aged man approached me about a job offer. He asked me questions about my job and Wendy's, then he told me about the job he was offering. He said there were other girls and they all lived in like a dorm and the job came with benefits. It was in an office setting and other things I don't remember, but the entire time every danger bell in my body was going off full blast. It felt like my body became a vibrator. I don't remember if after the multiple rejections from me he left, or if my ride had come and I zoomed out to there. The only thing I can think to this day is, did I almost get relations trafficked? Edit. In 1987 I was taking the Greyhound by myself from Toronto to Calgary. I had breakfast in the bus station restaurant and a young man joined me, and we had a nice chat. He asked me to come to Sault Ste. Marie with him instead of going to Alberta. I told him no. He kept asking and got more and more insistent. My bus departure was called and I got up to go get on my bus. He followed me and tried to force me onto the bus to SSM. I got away from him and got on my correct bus. I had never heard of relations trafficking then, but now I'm pretty sure I was a target. Glad I didn't get pushed into that bus. That happened just after another sketchy experience with an older man, so I kinda had my hackles up. They were very well timed hackles. Glad you're safe. I ran out of gas once on the freeway and was walking to a nearby exit. Some scruffy looking guy pulled over and asked if I wanted a ride. I almost did. I was young and dumb and fearless, but my survival instinct finally kicked in and I told him I'd just walk. He persisted, saying there were no gas stations off that exit. I finally told him to truck off. When I got to the exit there were like 4 gas stations right in view. I shudder to think what might have happened if I had gotten into that car. Sounds like it. I usually ignore the ZOMG. I almost got relations trafficked because a stranger looked at me funny posts on Reddit. Most are just the person being paranoid. But this sounds like a genuine attempt. If it wasn't for that, it definitely wasn't for some office job. Once I was hired to load firewood into my aunt's basement. She lives alone and left the basement door open for me while she went out. I usually swing the interior basement door as wide as I can when I walk in, and the door almost never closes completely, but once I heard it close, and when I was about to grab another load I saw that the deadbolt locked. When I walk in my arms are filled with firewood, so I wouldn't be able to lock it myself. Looked out the window and checked the garage to see if she came home, but she wasn't there. The door itself was enclosed, so no wind to shut it. I tried various ways of slamming the door so it would lock by itself, but nothing worked. It's an isolated house, so I would have heard someone drive up, and it's highly unlikely someone walked over just to lock the door and leave and time it while I was piling up firewood, and there's wooden steps, so I would have heard someone walking down them. It's the only time I've seen a deadbolt lock itself in my life. My brother had a similar experience of things moving in an unexplained way. He was working at our house because he kept a vintage car in our garage. It was a detached garage in a gated yard, and he was totally alone at the house. He's working away and all of a sudden his toolbox moved across the floor. He was totally freaked out and packed up and left as soon as possible. That house was odd. It was Edwardian and quite big. We had a couple of other odd happenings. A friend was very scared of an attic bedroom in that house. It did have a weird feel about it and nobody ever wanted to sleep in there. My father-in-law also saw a figure walk behind him in a mirror, and I saw a figure in our bedroom. It was a child standing by my bed. We have only lived in modern houses since, and I'm back to being skeptical about hauntings and hoping all of those events can be explained. What an amazing coincidence. I had this happen at work a few days ago. We noticed that someone had been in the men's room for over an hour. When I went to knock on the door I realized the motion activated lights were off inside. I realize instantly that whoever is inside has either passed out for over an hour or, most likely, is dead. I bang really hard on the door with the knock. Everybody calls my cop knock. No answer, so I got the manager to come down to unlock it. Him not doing the paperwork for finding a dead body. He unlocks it and opens it slowly, all the way open. Nobody is in there. The deadbolt closes from the inside. It has about a 2 shank. It isn't really hard to turn, but it's not easy either. I slammed the door several times as hard as I could, trying to see if it might have locked when slammed. It never moved. Not to mention there's no way the whole 2 shank would have engaged that way. The only way this deadbolt unlocks from the outside is with a tiny screwdriver, maybe a 1/32 wide. So the only logical way the door could have been locked without someone inside was if 1. Somebody knew that's how to lock and unlock it from outside, and 2. wanted to be such an asshole that they locked it. Of course, I had to make a joke to try to make everybody laugh and relieve some tension. I said, you know, this is about 20 minutes into the scary movie when the ghost really starts to ramp up the activity. For some reason nobody laughed. I had a recurring nightmare of a pitch black parasite sucking the life out of me. Sometimes it waited for me in dark corners to go to bed. My cats always slept on my bed during that time. For me it was a very stressful time. I got an itch at the place of my chest where I dreamed the parasite was sucking my life out of me. I got sick and felt a pea-sized lump. I went to my doc and they ordered a biopsy of that lump. As it turned out, I had male breast cancer at the age of 28. After I got well again, the dream never came back, and my cats slept in their places again and not on my bed. The dream was creepy enough. What it made for me were my cats protecting me. Cats are remarkably in tune with human health. Many stories of cats in nursing homes spending time with someone right before they die. My own cat will never leave my side when I'm really sick. It's quite interesting. Just a normal Saturday night. I was watching TV home alone with my 2 dogs when I heard a banging sound coming from the basement. Legit sounded like somebody was just banging something on the appliances we had down there. Now there is no access into the basement from down there, only through the upstairs rooms that I was in, and knew nobody could have come in and got past me. So with this knowledge, I was not as scared as you may think, more curious as to what the heck the noise was. One of the 2 dogs, who is a meathead and wants to fight everybody, also heard the noise and was now bolting down into the basement to investigate. I get down and see that it is my other dog, banging his head into our dryer and chest freezer, which are next to each other. My meathead dog is just stood there watching, confused. So I approach my other dog and calm him down, and we all go back upstairs. Now this freaked the heck out of me and upset me, as it seems such very strange behavior for my dog to do. Fast forward only 30 minutes or so. The banging starts again. I instantly look over to my dog, but he is laid down, but now also aware of the noise downstairs. We run down into the basement, and it is Meathead now banging his head in between the appliances. Again. I now calm Meathead down, and we all go back upstairs. Nothing has ever happened again since that night. 3 years now, so that ruled out brain tumors, which is what I read online about why maybe dogs bang their heads, but 2 dogs suddenly on the same night, and it only affecting one of them at any given time. 3 years and the 3 of us never talk about that night, lol. Edit. Wow, thanks for all the awards and updates. To answer a few questions. Yes, I have posted this story before. I have a very normal life and this story is just way I out there, but legit truthful to my otherwise mundane life. A few folks say it may have been a rodent/treat toy they were after. No. They were frenzied and hyperventilating. When they get things stuck under anything, they just cry and get me to get their stuff. I guess it boils down to just knowing your dogs. I know instantly from their body language just what the deal is, but that night, I have never seen them so frenzied and upset. Also, it is otherwise a very nice basement as basements go. I have never had a pest problem down there or in any other part of the house. Somebody mentioned that if it only happened 3 years ago, why did I not make a video of it? My first instinct was to help my dogs, to stop them harming themselves. At no point was my first thought to go and grab my phone to capture the moments on film. Really surprised I have to mention that one, but people/keyboard/warriors. It would be much creepier if one of the 3 of you would talk about it besides you. Maybe a mouse hiding. Dog 1 decides to be derpy. Dog 2 is like, let me try what that's all about. Or you possibly had a mouse in the back of the freezer and they could hear it. Maybe they were trying to get a mouse. Hopefully not temporarily possessed by dog demons. Your story wins. This is terrible. What a scene you painted.